The Government Inspector. This play takes place in a town in Russia, and it happened many years ago. The characters. First, we have Helestkov or Helest. He was a young man mistaken for the government inspector, and the mayor was the highest authority, of course, in the town, and he had some officials in the town. The first one, the charity commissioner or the CC, and he was responsible for the hospital and the church. And the judge, he was responsible, of course, for the court. The school superintendent or the SS, he was responsible for the school. And the postmaster, he was responsible for the post office. And the police superintendent, he was responsible for the jail and the police station. Also, we have some characters like Bob and Dob. They were landowners in the town, and the mayor was married to Anna, and he had a daughter called Maria. Act 1. The act here starts in the town and in the mayor's house. This town was full of corruption. All the officials were corrupted. And the mayor was at his house. He gathered his officials. Of course, we mentioned them before. The SS, the CC, the postmaster, all his officials. He gathered them to inform them that he had news, or he received a letter from a spy who works in Petersburg, and the spy warns him or sent a letter for him to warn him that there was an official or a government inspector that he is coming to inspect the whole province or the town. And he tells him that this official or this inspector has already arrived and is traveling incognito or disguised, so he might be in the town already. The mayor, of course, starting telling each of the officials his own mistakes, or he mentioned his own corruption. First, he ordered them to cover up their mistakes or their corruption in order not to lose what they have got in hand. He ordered first the CC to cover his corruption. What's the corruption for the CC? And we said before, the CC was responsible for the hospital and the church. The corruption for the hospital, that first there were a lot of patients, many patients in the hospital. Those patients were smoking filthy tobacco in the hospital. They were very dirty, no clean bed sheets or clothes, and they were smoking, and they were very dirty, and even he mentioned them or described them like chimney sweeps because of dirt. And the most horrible thing, that they don't give any medical treatment. They don't take any medicine in the hospital. So the mayor warned him to cover this or to change this just until the the inspector comes and leave the town. And then he moved to the judge to discuss with him his mistakes or the corruption in the court. First, he told him that he had 3 mistakes or 3 aspects of corruption in his court. First, the judge himself. The judge himself loves hunting, so he keeps the weapons and the guns of hunting and even the heads of animals in the courtroom. So he must put them away. The second one, his clerk. His clerk kept ducks and goslings and many kinds of animals in the courthouse, so he must get rid of them. And the third corruption in the court was the porter. He was always drunk and his mouth smelt of vodka. So he must cover this corruption, and even he ordered them not to take bribes for or from anyone, at least until the inspector leaves the town. And at this point, the judge didn't like this notice, so he discussed this with the mayor, and he accused the mayor that he, the mayor himself, takes bribes. So why does he blame the judge for taking bribes? And the judge defended himself that he takes bribes, only small kinds of bribes, like kinds of dogs which he used in hunting, while the mayor takes very, very expensive bribes. Then he moved to the SS, or the school superintendent. The mayor ordered him to control his school better because he had many corruption in the school. Like some teachers teach the children or the students some horrible or ideas, or some wild ideas. And some teachers do strange things, like a teacher of history, while he was teaching them about a battle happened in the past, he got into the actions and he started to destroy the school and the property while explaining this battle. So he told him that he will cover it up. Then he turned to the postmaster, that the postmaster was doing something also kind of corruption, like he used to unseal the letters which are coming in or going out because he likes to know how the world is going on. But this corruption, the mayor didn't object at it because he liked this, because he wants to know how or what will happen or who sent a letter of complaint outside. So he asked the postmaster to keep this, but it was of course a kind of corruption. And the mayor, when he told him this, the postmaster told him that he already opened the letter because he wants to know what's going on or what's happening around him in the world, or it broadens his mind. Then the police superintendent. What's wrong with the police superintendent? That he was treating the convicts severely, and he isn't feeding them. He wasn't feeding them and beating them, and he left the town in complete mess. And the whole town is a complete disgrace and shame, and the policemen are always drunk. After this, when he finished all his instructions, the two landlords, and we mentioned them before, Bob and Dob, they came to the mayor and they told him that when they were passing an inn to get some food, they entered the inn to get some food. They saw an unfamiliar face, someone strange inside this inn. And when they saw him, they noticed that he was a strange, and they thought he was the inspector. Why? Because he paid nothing and put everything on credit, although he had been staying at the inn for 2 weeks. So he doesn't pay money. So they thought because he was official, so the government would pay for him. And the two landowners convinced the mayor that this man must be the government inspector. But not this only. Bob and Dob thought he was the inspector because they saw him. We said he looked around him a lot and he noticed everything around him. And they knew that he came from Petersburg. They asked about him, the owner of the inn. So he told them that this man came from Petersburg. So this was a third one. And they knew that he had official papers to take horses or to deliver horses to a town called Saratov. So again, they suspected Helskov or this stranger in the inn to be the inspector because he was or he noticed everything around him. He takes everything on credit. He doesn't pay any money. He came from Petersburg and he had official papers to take horses to Saratov. When the mayor hears this, he panics or felt very worried or afraid more than ever because he realized that this man or the inspector is already in the town and for a whole 2 weeks, so it might be something dangerous for him. He might not any of the corruption or this thing happen in his town. So the mayor quickly ordered the streets to be swept, especially near the inn where the inspector is staying, and he intended to visit the inn to meet the inspector without revealing his real identity. Just he will be acting like he is anyone to travel to check everything in his town, and the mayor will pretend that it's his habit to inspect the town and see if the travelers need anything to persuade the inspector that he is doing his job well. So the mayor leaves the scene or the stage with his official. After this, Anna and Maria, we said Anna, the mayor's wife, and Maria, his daughter, they came down from their room, and Anna was very, very angry with her daughter Maria because Anna was very, very curious. She wanted to know what's going on or what is going about or what was going on about this inspector. So Maria delayed her by dressing and putting makeup and these things, so Anna was angry with Maria. And then the commentary, you have to read it. And some questions for the act. In the opening act, the mayor as well as the officials are dead worried. Discuss this. Why were they worried? What sort of corruption is there in the hostel? Or we can say it as a comment and make them stop smoking that filthy tobacco. Number 3, also comment. And I hasten to warn you that an official is coming to inspect your district. Comment. Number 4, mention the reason that each one gave for the inspector's arrival. Number 5, this inspector may now be undoing us all behind our backs. This comment. The CC and the doctors have a philosophy in giving out medicine. Explain this. The doctors and I have everything arranged. Comment. And finally, if they die, they die. If they get better, comment. Number 7, what were the instructions given to the CC concerning the arrangements to be done? The conversation between the mayor and the judge about the corruption in the courthouse reveals more about their characters. Discuss this. What are the wrongs that we find in the courthouse and what arrangements should be done or should the judge make? Well, there are sins and sins. I freely admit I take bribes, but what sort of bribes? Borzoi puppies, that's all. Comment. And 11, what sort of corruption is found in the school? Or, it's a mysterious law of life. Clever men are never quite sane. Well, I'm not frightened, but I'm a little uneasy about the tradespeople. They say they have found me difficult, though God's my judge. If I have taken from 1 or 2, I did it without any ill feeling. Comment. What did the mayor ask the postmaster to do, and what was his answer? Give an example of the dishonesty of the postmaster, or I would like to know what goes on in the world. Good. Young men are easier to handle. There would be much worse trouble with an old man. What made Bob and Dob believe that the young man in the inn was the government inspector? How was the constable involved in the corruption according to the mayor's story? And what orders did the mayor give to the police superintendent concerning the improvements that should be done? Finally, why was Anna, the mayor's wife, of course, angry with her daughter Maria?